welcome back to the Daily Close. And you have joined us again for another episode of All Things Crypto. Today, we are joined by Crypto-pleb and BTC Buddha and myself, KNX. Today, we're going to do a quick overview of the market, what's been happening, what changes have been happening, a little bit on price action and technical analysis. And then we're going to jump into two juicy projects for you that we think have big potential for big gains. So before we jump into that, as always, this isn't financial advice. We are only advocates of the space. So please do your own research. And if you like the content, please like, subscribe.
Hit the bell button too.
And hit the bell button. You got me there. You got me covered. Thank you. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the market and you know, some of the news that's come out. So I think we've seen a lot of regulatory change. We've seen a lot of exchanges, you know, reducing leverage from crazy amounts like 120, 125x to 20x. I think this is all led by none other than FTX and SAM. And then we have, you know, the KYC that's coming as well, becoming a little bit more strict, you know, playing into, you know, the name of regulation as well. And then we have a lot of interesting on-chain analytics going on right now, you know, both on-chain and off-chain actually, that we can see in price action, which we'll jump into in a little bit. But yeah, what do you guys think of the market and what's been happening?
Yeah,
market's been really good this past week.
Yeah, quite a few things been moving around, hasn't it?
Very good. I'd say at least in terms of the most bullish ones, NFTs and NFT gaming. We talked about Axie Infinity a few weeks ago. But I mean, there's a lot of other NFT games that are just popping off. I mean, you get Tower, Gamey, the actual Gamey token. I was looking at Crypto Blades earlier. Mist, something called Wall Street Games. I mean, if you go to the trending search on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, it's all just NFT gaming right now, and it's popping off. It's great.
Yeah,
great.
I think a lot of people are discovering what NFTs can actually do and what sort of value that they have. You know, before it was all very speculative. It was just sort of like a JPEG where you could just right click save as. But now people are understanding NFTs more and the sort of the value and the value proposition that they actually have. So very interesting to see NFTs specifically within gaming popping off recently. We also have the fake news from Amazon, or not maybe not fake, but there's a rumor going around. I think this was started off by Amazon posting on one of their job boards that they were hiring a blockchain engineer or something related to crypto, and you know, in the good old CT fashion, they blew this out of proportion. Which to give them some credit, there was a little bit of a pump in the market. You know, we've seen a nice move up from the lows, but also we have a massive move in the markets. I think something akin to 40%, especially on Bitcoin. Let's jump into the charts now. Can you guys see my chart?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking good. Cool. Looking good.
So I mean, what we have here is, you know, we had Bitcoin retest the lows of, you know, 29,000, 30,000. We wicked down to about 28, I think, at some point. And now we've had 9 straight green candles in a row. And for those of you who are new to technical analysis, might not know, but there's something called the TD sequential, which basically it basically suggests that once we have a move, or once we see 9 consecutive candles in either direction, so that's a close above the prior 9 candles, or a close below each consecutive candle, we are very, very likely to see a little bit of a pullback or a little bit of a reversal in price. And we can see that now. So on the Bitcoin chart here, we're on the daily chart. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green candles. Very strong momentum. We've got volume coming in as well, which is what we like to see. And now we are having a little bit of a pullback. And you can see it's playing the fibs very, very nicely. Gets rejected here at the top of the range. We had previous resistance, and we're retesting now the 0.236 on this fib. Now, I would say the short term, a little bit of a pullback. If it holds this level, I'd say it's very, very bullish. We're creating a higher low. For those of you who are maybe new to technical analysis and don't know where the previous low was, this is where our previous low, we made the previous low at 29. So as long as we make a higher high above that, it's looking bullish. However, I will start to get a little bit concerned if we close below, the mid range, $37,000 or maybe $36,000. We might see a move back down to the range. So keep an eye out in the next coming days, in the next week, in the next weeks. What will likely happen. But I definitely think that with this sort of momentum, we will see a push into the $40,000 region. The first stop would probably be around this area, the 382, which is about 43,000. Anywhere in between here, maybe consolidate for a little bit before then testing, the 0.5 and the 0.618 region, which is typically, where you see a lot of bull traps. If we look back at the history of Bitcoin, we see a lot of these kind of moves play out where we have a massive capitulation, a move back up to the 0.5 or the 0.618, and then what you really have to look out for is, will Bitcoin make a higher low, or will it, continue to crash down? So keep your eyes out for this level. I would say anywhere between 47,000 and about 51,000. As soon as we enter that range on Bitcoin, I would start taking profits again. This is not financial advice. I personally will be taking some profits and taking some money off the table, and then seeing what happens from there, seeing if we make a higher low and keep the bullish market structure. Very similar thing for Ethereum as well. I think this is looking a little bit stronger here. We actually took out the previous highs. We wicked above that, and I would expect us to again make a move back up to the range high here, which is about $2,900 in the medium term. Short term, again, a little bit of a pullback. So that's what's happening with price action. I would also say in general as well, Bitcoin will outperform most of the altcoins. If we go to the Bitcoin dominance chart here, you can see that we have made a reversal from the lows. We've got bullish market structure coming in with the higher lows and higher highs. And I do expect us to also make a move back up to the 52% area where there was strong support previously, which I suspect will turn into resistance, and then take it from there. But if you are holding altcoins, be prepared or be aware that you might be losing value in Bitcoin. So that's just something to take note of. But overall, very bullish. We've got a lot of bullish news. I think it's always a good sign when there's bullish news and you see a big move in price. That's a good sign that the market's recovering. If there's continuous bullish news and there's not much reaction from the price, you can assume that the market is in a sort of downtrend here. So what we've seen in the past week and past couple of weeks is very promising. Just remember to take profits and play it level by level.
No doubt, no doubt.
So let's jump into some of the projects you guys want to talk about. I know you're very excited to tell us all about some of the best projects that you have your eyes on. So let's start off with Crypto-pleb, and you will be covering today Holochain. Is that right?
It's a hot one. It's a hot one, man.
The hot one.
That's all you need to say. It's hot.
Yes, it's hot. It's hot. No, this is a good project. I was looking at it over Twitter. It came up on my feed and decided to look into it a bit more. And I found that such a project like Holochain has a lot of real world application that I think is quite interesting. Maybe I can share my screen.
Sure. Yeah. Give me a second.
Okay, perfect. Let me get mine up in a moment. But I mean, overall, Holochain, it's a project I think started 2017, and it is primarily an application framework that anyone, any developer, any group can build applications on top of. It's a peer-to-peer application that's secure, reliable, and is fast. And what it gives to the users is autonomy and the availability of having locally installed software, because as opposed to everything running on the blockchain, this application is very agent centric, as in myself as a user, I'm at the center of my experience. It's not part of a chain, but it's part of my own realm of control. And this is actually how it's built fundamentally. And so with this, because how it's structured, it means that for me, I'll always have access to the applications that I build on top of it. I guess I have my own authorization for that particular application and that realm of control. So it's because it's very agent centric, it becomes a very consent-based permission control type of setup. And you become even more so protected from unauthorized use, as opposed to maybe other projects that are a bit more, you're interconnected with everybody. And that always, puts forward some sort of kind of risk. And so, let me just go, this is the website here. You can go to holochain.org to look into a bit more deeply. Now, some of the things I was describing about the application framework and agent-centric, and how it's encrypted as a peer-to-peer network, you really find this information here on the website. But I think for you as the maybe a prospective buyer of Holochain or hot tokens, one thing I would keep in mind, and what would make me so bullish about this, is that I kind of put this in comparison to like the example of like Facebook having our information that we provide to it, but because it's all centralized and it's managed by this large company, they at the end of the day, if without telling us, can determine what they want to do with it. And I would put Holochain as similar to what Apple's doing now by inputting a function where an app has to ask if it's okay if they were to track you or if they can use your data. In a sense that now you have more control, more agency around your data. And something like the situation with Facebook and Cambridge, and they're leaking a use of that information, you can prevent it because you retain your agency, you have more control, and it's a permission-based kind of system when it regards to your data. And now, because data is becoming a more and more hot topic, and more and more people are noticing the disparity between the amount of data you give out and how much money these companies make off your data without you even knowing about it, you having more control over it is inherently better for everybody. And I think this kind of technology is going to be huge. People jump on this platform very quickly. And we only have some great minds here, Arthur Brock and Eric Harris Braun. I believe Arthur graduated from Michigan State and Eric from Yale, actually. So these are highly educated folk coming together, come up with this idea, and they have together a very strong set of team here that helps with the development, but also helps with how this project is marketed and understood. And for some of you who are still learning about this kind of project, you can pay attention to this person here. His name is Paul. I've seen some of his videos on YouTube. This is the first place I looked to learn more about this project. I recommend it to you as well. It's put very simply. You will understand it on the first try. So it's very good. But I mean, overall, there's a lot of things going for this project. Like I mentioned before, started in 2017. It's actually already here in its third phase. The project's actually not, I guess I could say 100%. Like you could build projects on top of it, maybe a kind of a sandbox kind of function, but like it's not done yet. They still have a lot more to go. And for me, as a potential investor of sorts, when I think about seeing what they have done until now, I see how fundamentally the problem that they're trying to solve, our data, our protection of that data, getting in now, I think is considered getting in early. And although this is not investment advice, this is definitely investing into this project now, even when it's at I think it's about even at $1 billion market cap now. I still believe you're early. And then as the market starts to recover and pumps back up again, and we see some other altcoins start to do it multiple times over, you can see the same thing happen here with hot as well. That's why it's so hot. It's not just the name. So I had to do that. You have to forgive me for that. But just the last point I'll jump on. I've been looking at the price action of this project. It did have its tumble back here in April, as we know. That's quite cataclysmic. However, lately now, it's been looking a bit more bullish. It's kind of more on the uptrend here. I'm using the Ichimoku cloud right now, so whenever the Kijun and Pencon, that's the change and that's the base. When they cross over, is usually an indication of when things are going to go south or going to go north. So here you can see it cross here, and that's a sign that the bears are going to come in and take over. And you can see back here where you're seeing a little bit more crossings that would point up and be more bullish. This is when we're above the cloud. Now we're below it. But right now I see here that we're crossing back up into this territory. Indicators, at least MACD is looking a bit more positive. RSI could be a bit more positive. I'd like to see that. More volume would be better. But I wouldn't say it would be impossible for this to start going back up again. And if we close back up into the red cloud, I think there can be some definite profit that can be made. But just as KNX also mentioned about taking profit, that applies to every project. So when it goes up, make sure you take out and not left with left with the bag. But overall, if you're the DCAN from here, this is a fundamentally good project. I'm bullish on it. It's going to go up. I think that anyone who's interested in the space should take a look at this project. So I'm thinking there's some good gains coming from here. Not financial advice though. That's with me. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Yeah, a really good project there. I remember Holochain from 2017. Fundamentals are looking very, very strong. It's got a massive industry that it's looking to disrupt. And also the technicals are looking strong as well, as you pointed out, Crypto-pleb. So got a lot of things going for it. I think that if they do pull off what they're trying to do, this thing could fly. This thing can really fly. So keep your eyes out for Holochain. Thanks for that, Crypto-pleb. Let's move on to our second project for the episode with BTC Buddha. He will be covering for us today a very interesting topic and one that's been popping off lately, Luna or Terra.
Luna, yes. Let me just share my screen real quick. So similar to Hot or Holochain, Terra Luna is something that's been really developing, been in the works for a few years now, roughly about 3 years or so. And as they say, companies that develop during the bear market and really grind, we're really in it for the tech, are the ones that come out really successful. And Terra is definitely one of those companies. Just to give a quick background, I'm showing the CoinGecko website right now. Terra is ranked 28 with a market cap of 4.3, which is really high. Its total supply is close to 1 billion, and circulating supply is just about 500 million, 415K. And its all-time high was around $22, and right now we're roughly just shy of, actually just over 50%. So even if it gets its all-time high now, that's another 200%, basically. 2x, yeah, not 200%, 2x. That's a lot of potential there. But going back to Terra and the actual background, Terra is created by a Korean blockchain company called Terraform Labs. And to really understand Terra, kind of need to go to understand, kind of explain its founders, its background, and how it fits into its sort of greater ecosystem. Because Terra Luna, if you were to really put it simply, it's they provide, they mint stable coins, but they've created a great ecosystem that will actually, it's all centered around the stable coin, which will help people earn money, invest in different synthetic tokens, and be able to earn yield or interest off borrowing, lending out their stable coin. So we'll get into that in more detail later. But Terra itself, Terraform Labs, is basically founded by two Koreans. And you know how Koreans love crypto. But one of the guys' name is Daniel Shin. Big market, yeah. He went to the Wharton Business School. He founded 4 companies. One of those companies is the e-commerce platform. Another company is called Chai, which is the fastest growing e-wallet in Korea. So this e-wallet in Korea has roughly 2 million active users and roughly about $1 billion in transaction volume just over the past like 12 months or so. And so he's created these other companies, and one of the functions of Terra is to actually function as a stablecoin, which in their greater payment ecosystem. So their stablecoin, Terra UST, is actually integrated with Chai's payment system. So you can basically pay using this stablecoin. But yeah, and I'll go into the actual Terra's background right now. Terra USD, which is UST. So Terra, they basically mint stablecoins, but it's built on the Cosmos layer 1 platform using the Tendermint SDK, based and delegated on the proof of stake mechanism. So it's relatively fast. But what's the advantage of Cosmos, as KNX had talked about in previous weeks, is its interoperability, which means Terra can really as it says here on this article, it's an interchain stablecoin. It can integrate with Binance Smart Chain. It can integrate with Ethereum. It's going to eventually be able to integrate with Solana and a few others, Polkadot, Kusama, etc. And the transaction speed is relatively fast, averages about 6 seconds, which is pretty good, and only costs a few cents at this moment, right? So that's sort of its infrastructure. But UST, this interchain stablecoin, is an algorithmic stablecoin, and so you'll probably wonder, there are multiple stablecoins out there, like actually loads, right? You have BUSD, you have USDC, you have USDT, you have DAI from MakerDAO. Just countless. A lot of these, exchanges as well have their own stablecoin. But what makes Luna much better than all of them is its stability and its ability to maintain its peg, right? Because you have things like DAI that actually went off its peg a few years ago, and so because they have a scaling issue. But Luna is designed in such a way where there's a slight arbitrage opportunity, and so because of the volume of these users who want to take advantage of this arbitrage, it basically allows for anything to, when the price of a Luna goes more than $1, it's going to actually, people are going to sell, and then it's going to help maintain its peg. And yeah, another mechanism is that it basically burns Luna to maintain its stablecoin price. So stablecoin is its sort of main function or main product, I guess you could say. But how it fits into its greater ecosystem is that I'm just going to pull up an article here that actually, hold on a second. I just stopped sharing. I meant to go to a different tab.
Try that.
Yeah, control.
Yeah.
Here we go. Right. This is a great article that goes over Terra's ecosystem. I'll share a link. We'll share a link in the description below. But as it says here, Terra's ability allows users to earn, invest, and borrow and govern. Going straight into the sort of protocols, it's integrated. It's actually collaborated other layer 1 protocols like Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Cosmos, and Solana as well to create something called Anchor Protocol. I won't go too much into detail, but essentially Anchor Protocol allows one to get a fixed interest rate off of any, fixed interest rate. So that's quite, I mean, can you imagine, like right now in traditional banks, we get maybe 1% at most.
If you're lucky.
And if you're lucky, exactly. But one of the critiques of DeFi and crypto blockchain is its instability, right? You have a lot of people doing yield farming, but also yield hopping, just trying to get the best yield. But what this opportunity that Anchor provides is a fixed interest rate so that you're gonna get, APY of 20% consistently. This is just, it's kind of a no-brainer to just move to this type of protocol.
20% on basically US dollars, right?
Exactly. The USD is basically pegged to US dollar. The other component is there's another protocol on the Terra ecosystem, Terra layer, basically, layer 1 protocol, which is the mirror protocol. And this is, in short, it basically allows one to mirror mints synthetic tokens that are pegged to the price of other financial assets, stocks, essentially. So on the screen, you'll see GameStop in the middle, you'll see something like Twitter, Netflix, Tesla, Alibaba, AMC. And what this basically allows is, without actually having to buy the stock in the traditional market, you can actually purchase them off a mirror. But what another opportunity for people who are bullish on Terra is that you can actually provide liquidity to the trading pairs on this platform and gain incredible yield, right? So something like GameStop, you get 148%, or Twitter, 100%. And this is what actually pushed the price up of Luna so high, especially in the past recent months, and why people are so bullish on it. This is another component to the ecosystem. And the last one I'm going to touch on is the ability to basically borrow land within Anchor protocol. So you're basically getting paid to borrow, right? This one, just at the time of this article, it's saying that, borrowing from Anchor protocol provides a net gain of 40%. It's pretty insane.
That's pretty crazy. In what other world than crypto would you be paid to borrow money? That's crazy.
That's a miracle.
Miracle, exactly. So what I mentioned earlier was the benefit of this Terra ecosystem and its stablecoin is its stability compared to other platforms of the stablecoins. And I think the last point I'm just going to leave off on is, I don't want to just promote how great it is, because obviously there are, when you look at things like this very objectively, there are pros and cons to this. I've mentioned the pros. The other, I guess, con, disadvantage, or how you want to look at it is basically it's not as decentralized as a lot of people in crypto would hope it to be. It has a limit of 100 validators, which makes it less decentralized than other proof of stake networks. Just to give you sort of a comparison and better understanding of this, Binance, which is super centralized, has 11 validators. And Ethereum for the ETH 2.0 right now has about 90,000 validators. So, depending on how worried you are about decentralization and all that, it doesn't take away from kind of the amount of money you can actually make by using the Terra ecosystem and its layer 1 protocol. But if you want to be a decentralization maxi, you might stray away from this. Totally up to you. Like KNX said in the previous video, I'm a profit maxi, so I mean, this isn't an opportunity I'd shy away from. And just in terms of its sort of roadmap or other bullish news, you have a lot of companies who are investing into Terra. Just real quickly, Galaxy and Coinbase bet 25 million on it. This is back in January 2021. Another one I saw just recently is actually back in February is 10 million by Gladly. So yeah, a lot of potential here, a lot of potential. But that's it for me, my update.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, Luna is definitely something I've got my eye on as well. What they've been able to do is amazing. I mean, the rate of adoption that they have, you know, especially with the Korean community and soon Southeast Asia as well, it's going to be insane. I think on their website they mentioned they have about $1 billion of is it daily volume traded or something like that?
$1 billion, yeah.
That's insane. I mean, it's obviously not as big as Ethereum. You know, that has the first mover advantage, but Luna has its audience, man, and it's something that everyone should take notice of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a real use case, right? I mean, it's payments network that it's integrated with other e-commerce platforms. I didn't mention this earlier, but Terra itself is in this sort of alliance of other e-commerce conglomerates. A lot of them based in Korea. But I mean, like, people are going to be using Luna or its stablecoin to, you know, pay for things. So I mean, it's just by that sort of real case sort of scenario, like, it's super bullish. And it's going to increase sort of speed up mass adoption, especially in Korea.
Yeah. I've done a little bit of research about Luna, but probably don't know as much as you, BTC Buddha. But from the sounds of it, you know, what they've actually managed to come up with is something akin to the current financial system that we have. You know,
basically, yeah.
A protocol or ecosystem that allows you to lend and borrow. It allows you to you know, earn a stable interest rate, which is very rare in the DeFi space, as you mentioned. But also invest as well in stocks and commodities. So all those put together, it's basically primed to disrupt the current financial system that we have in a sort of decentralized and permissionless, not 100% decentralized, but, you know, somewhat decentralized and permissionless fashion. So very bullish on Luna. If you haven't already, definitely recommend you doing research into Luna and also Holochain as well. Both great projects. But on that note, I think we'll wrap things up here. Again, you know, everything that we've mentioned here is not financial advice. Please do your own research. If you found that, you know, we've provided some value, if you like our content, if you like what we're doing, please do drop a like. It only takes 2 seconds to click that like button. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and also follow us on our Twitter. Our handles will be in the comments below if you want all the most up-to-date news and what's going on in the crypto space, because we're quite active there too. So with that said, thank you guys for going through the projects. Very interesting projects, very bullish as well. Yeah, but with that said, I think we'll wrap things up here, and may the pump be with you.
With you too, my man. May the pump be with you.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers. Take care, guys.
All right, there you guys.
Cheers.